Well, I'm just working on this guard, and I had to rub back with 80, which brought it down to metal here and there, but I'll live with that. And I'm about to give it a wipe down. Now, I probably could have high fuel primered this and just blocked it out, but the reality is I reckon bog will do a better job. It doesn't shrink as much. High fuel primer, you have to wait a long time. And so I thought I'd give it just a coat of bog. I want to get used to using it again. And it's just got a little dent there. And there's another tiny little dent there. Now the thing about me is I can try and knock that out, but I end up missing and putting a dent there, and it's just a nightmare. So I'd rather put in a, 10th thou of bog or whatever and get rid of it, because they're really shallow. You wouldn't see that actually if I sanded in the hole. Anyway, that was about it. Oops, I just walked into my sawhorse. So I'll put you on time lapse. You can watch if you like. Okay then. Anyhow, the guards, the panels hold secrets until you start putting filler in them. Like, that's a low spot just there, or just there. And you can see that's flickering. That's just where I put a bit more hardener in the next layer. I put a very thin skim in. It's pretty flat that now, but still needs a little tiny bit just here somewhere. And that high spot there, I'll have to check it. Now it's got about 1/16 of an inch of bog over the top of it at the end of the day. You can see the little thin spots come through, there. There, it's all less than 1/16, a lot of it. And this has got to come down yet, but that's probably 1/8 of an inch, maybe. I think it was at a low spot just there. Anyway, it's of no real importance. And needs a little bit more there. That's a double paneling there, and you can't get in there to knock it out properly. So I just left it. It was very shallow. That'll be about 1/8 of an inch. I should say around 2 mil, 1 to 2 mil when it's finished. It's a slow process, but once you've got it, and it's there. Once you've sort of brought it in, but thin layers, lots of layers. You don't want to put too much on at once. It ends up down there anyway. And so I'll get back to it. This is my little heater hose, and I use these to rub in the corner. Rob Teal showed me that. Thought it was a good idea. And if you're wondering why I'm putting bog over that, go and have a look at Rob Teal's video. He's forgotten more about panel beating than I know, and that's what he does. And he reckons that your bog sticks much better, adheres much better to the 2-pack primer. It's a better surface, and once upon a time you always put it on metal, but now you don't, because that stuff sticks to metal better than that, and that stuff sticks to primer better. So it's just better. So it's a win-win, isn't it? So, but in my day, I've always put bog straight on metal, but it's a hard thing to do, to put it on primer. But there'll be these spots here, but they'll probably just end up getting reprimed rather than, anything of any consequence. Cheerio. Okay, so we're sort of getting to the end of this guard. Done up here. Now, believe it or not, it's paper thin. The filler in this. Excuse the flicker. You can see how it's all just, you know, slight low spot there, just like. But there's nowhere in this where the filler is more than like 2 mil thick. There may be, you know, one point where it's 3 mil, but it'll be just a spot. But it's really not even that. And but it just poor old guards had goats and things jumping all over it, and there's little blemishes here, there, and everywhere. Anyway, so the best I can do, and it'll look pretty good at the end of the day. It's a pretty straight looking guard now. G'day. The guard here is sort of coming up pretty good. I've got the shape pretty well roughed out. I'm pretty happy with it in general. It's fairly thin. There wouldn't be more than 2 mil of you know, putty over this anywhere. So you rough it down with 40 grit, and then I've taken it down with 80, and I'll put a 2-part polyester primer over that, and then put a mist coat on, and then leave it for a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks even, to shrink down. And then I can block it out and see where it's sort of got some misdemeanors, because it doesn't matter what you do, you'll never get it just 100% on the first go. And the door, there, see the door, it's down any road. The door's been sanded back. I'm going to put a 2-pack epoxy primer over this next. I know that sounds a bit convoluted, but it just works better for me that way. I don't have to rush and do everything all at once, and that's what I'm doing it in stages. Okay, just going to give these a bit of a undercoat here. This is where I did a bit of work, so I just sanded that and sprayed it. So the other day with just a bit of primer, but I've got to seal it properly with this stuff here. So I'll do that, and all the repair work is mostly done. There'll be a little bit of tweaking, but you know, that guard's pretty well done. And you know, sometimes here like you'll have a little high spot. I'll just have to block it and see how it feels. Put some high build primer on it. It is minuscule amount, so but often if you sand, you know, you sand like there, you sand too long, you get a high spot, obviously. And so you kind of like got to do this, where you just get close and then you stop. And it's actually perfect. And, the whole guard's really nice. I'm very happy with it. But I'm thinking I might do this and undercoat the guards and the other side of the door, of course. And I might do the other door, but I think I actually need to do the cab, and in around the doors here, in around the doors, get it all sort of primed and ready to rock and roll, and maybe even painted for that matter. It wouldn't hurt to paint it. It's going to be black, I think. I haven't really decided whether we should go black. Originally the car was saddle, obviously, and well, not obviously, just saddle leather colour, saddle. I don't know if it's anything to do with leather. Saddle vinyl, very classy Aussie cars. So I'm really looking forward to getting this all coloured up and stuff. That's the original colour in the roof there. So I'll give that a sand and a prime. It'll look like that everywhere. When I'm done, it'll be sweet. And you can see how it's all, but that's if you have just come to the channel earlier. It's all seam sealed and ready to rock and roll in here. And just needs painting. It's the outside of the car that's the hard work. And I haven't even ground that back yet. Still just a weld. I think there was a hole there. It might have been like a bullet hole or something. I don't know. It took a bit of getting right. And anyway, so I've got to grind that back. Been lazy. Cheerio. Okay, so I've got the door primed and got a guide coat over it, or I call it a mist coat, but a lot of people call it a guide coat, so guide it is today. And you can actually see how straight that guard is, can't you now? And I mean, that's only 80 grit, so it'll need good old-fashioned blocking down now, and then some high build primer over that. And that'll be it then. And, so that's one guard done. So I'm pretty pleased about that. And I've got to paint the inside black. I'll get onto that now. Also got to put some under body sealer in there as well. So probably do the whole guard. And look how cool it is in here. Can you see in there? I wonder if you can see in there. Look at that. And it's just one cool inside of a door.
Look at all your hard work.
I'll be on.
Always on. He hates it when I record and don't tell him.
Yeah. You just switch it on, don't say anything, that's the way. Yeah, finally got this guard. You've only seen a fraction of the footage. It takes ages to do this stuff. And I'm not good at it, so when you're not good at it, it takes even longer again. That's probably a hailstone. It's about to rain down on us. Yeah. But I got my lines straight. I got my bows right. I got my arches right, whatever you want to call it. You know, so she's a nice looking guard now. In fact, this is a better guard than the other side, technically. And, I got my gaps good, and my door, I'll probably do a little bit of work on the door. There's some little, I don't know how I mucked that up, but I did. I mustn't have, anyway, so a little bit of repair work. Wow, I could probably high build primer that out, but I don't like to use too much high build primer. I'd rather use a slight putty.
That is hail, isn't it? It's loud.
Is it? Should we go past my car in the garage?
Hang on. Oh.
Put your car in here.
I don't know. Is that hail?
That's his heavy drop with the rain.
Yeah.
Not really bouncing. I think the rain. I thought I might put my car in the garage.
Yeah.
Might as well do these out.
Anyway.
So that really rudely interrupted our... Sorry about that. Anyway, it's done and I'm on the other side. So next week you'll see the other side being done. And
sign out. Looks good.